Well, we know when we've been talking about President Trump and his threats for increasing tariffs against our country, his big concern has been our apparent lax approach at our border, blaming us for an increase in fentanyl going into the U.S., migrants that shouldn't be going across the border. An interesting report from Canada Border Services Agency shows that we might be more concerned about what's coming in from the U.S. when it comes to drugs, weapons. My guest this morning is Mark Weber, National President of the Customs and Immigration Union for the Canada Border Services Agency. Mark, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
And Mark, I know we've talked in the past, and my question is always, when a president says what is coming into his country, how much responsibility the U.S. border control has. Is it really a two-way street when we look at what is coming into either country?
It is not. That's not how borders work. Canada is responsible for what comes into Canada. The U.S. is responsible for what goes into the U.S. So all that talk about having to worry about what's coming from Canada to the U.S. as being our responsibility is really looking at it backwards.
Well, it's looking at it backwards, and we now are seeing this data when we see what is actually coming in from the U.S. into Canada. What kind of stood out for you when you started looking at this?
I mean, it's what we've known. It's what I've been saying, since this became a hot topic with the recent election results in the U.S. There's a lot more coming from the U.S. into Canada than there is the other way around. Our members know this. We know this. We see these drugs, guns, anything you could think of coming from the U.S. into Canada every day. And our members do an incredible job keeping our country safe and keeping these things out of Canada. It's been really hard to listen to the hyperbole and that attempt to paint a picture of us not doing our job well. We do a great job. And again, most of the flow of what's trying to get in is coming from the U.S. to here, not the other way around.
We have Canada now announcing that they're going to have a border czar. Again, an opportunity for them to say Kevin Brousseau, a former RCMP deputy commissioner, is going to be the fentanyl czar. What was your reaction to that? Is that something that at least you think that's an important thing that we've got to start looking at how fentanyl is getting into our country or even getting into the U.S.?
I mean, we do. We have been. Any additional resources are good. We do not like the word czar, and I'm hoping that's used as little as possible. I think the one positive that we could draw from, really the lies and hyperbole that have been coming from the U.S. regarding how the border works and what's going on there is that we are seeing additional resources put toward the border, additional focus, and now we can really start focusing on the real problem is what's coming from the U.S. into Canada.
This obviously is an opportunity to say, look, President Trump, we are doing something here. Please back off on your threatened tariffs. But, it sounds like at least you're recognizing that, okay, we're now focusing, we're putting some money into border security, that $1.3 billion border security package. So this must still be good news then for anyone looking at protecting our borders.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Any additional resources are good. Look, again, I said it earlier, our members do an incredible job. We can always do more. Resources are limited. Staffing in places is limited. We need to start getting the ability to operate between ports of entry, something the CBSA currently does not have. It's kind of now being left to different provincial combinations and the RCMP. We need to get back into the business of doing that, we think. But any additional resources are good. Our border is not broken. Canada and CBSA and the RCMP do a really good job at what we do. And again, it's a lot of pressure. There's a lot that's trying to get in from the U.S. I'm hoping that all of the resources go toward that and not going toward addressing really the falsehoods that are coming from the U.S.
Always appreciate your perspective, Mark. Thanks so much for your time.
All right, anytime.